It's summer 2021. You know that this real estate market is absolutely bonkers. Here are 3 crazy strategies I have seen buyers use to try to stand out in a crowded market. Sometimes they work, sometimes they blow up. And every single one of these strategies is risky. My explanation of them is not an endorsement and it's not legal advice. So if you're thinking about using any one of these strategies, please make sure you're getting good advice from your real estate agent and from an attorney familiar with these strategies. The first strategy that I'm seeing, and it's the most common strategy I'm seeing right now, is buyers putting up big due diligence fees. In North Carolina, a due diligence fee becomes non-refundable immediately. Buyers are making bold statements to try to stand out from other offers, and they're putting up due diligence fees that are into the 6 figures sometimes. Now, if the buyer is unhappy with the condition of the home or they discover something during due diligence that they're not satisfied with, or if they need to back out of the contract for any other reason, say a job change, you're giving up that due diligence fee to the seller. You're not getting it back. The second thing I'm seeing used are appraisal addendums. Because a lot of homes are going under contract for higher than the asking price, the parties get concerned that the property may not appraise for the purchase price. And you have to keep in mind that lenders will not lend based on the purchase price, they lend based on the appraised value. Some buyers, to combat this, are telling sellers that if the property doesn't appraise for the purchase price, that they will come out of pocket for the difference. This is risky because there's no way to know what the gap in the purchase price and the appraisal might be. So this could be putting buyers in a sticky situation, especially if they don't really have the cash to come up with the difference. This final strategy is a little lesser known, but I'm seeing it used more and more often for buyers to try to stand out, and that is using escalation clauses in the contract. This involves the buyer naming their price. For example, they say, I'll pay you $100,000, but if you get a higher offer and you can verify that, then I will pay $1,000 more. So if the seller gets an offer for $101,000, then the buyer will say, okay, if you can prove that, I will now pay $102,000, and so on and so forth. This strategy is risky for a few reasons. And the first is you are immediately revealing that you're willing to pay more for the property than what you offered. The second thing is sellers are not permitted to just reveal the other offers that they get to you without the permission of the person that made that offer. So it's very tough to get around your requirement that they verify that they've received a bona fide offer that's higher than yours. A lot of buyers don't consider that anyone else knows about escalation clauses or is using them. But there are situations where you are up against an offer that has a competing escalation clause. And if that's the case, the highest cap wins. So for example, if you say, if the seller gets an offer higher than mine, I'll keep outbidding them up until we get up to $150,000. Well, what if the competing offer says, I'll keep bidding up until we get to $151,000? Well, the offer, almost always with the highest cap, is going to win. Most buyers using escalation clauses think, oh, I'll only end up spending a couple more $1,000s more than what I offered. But in the situation of competing escalation clauses, very recently I saw a property that only had 2 offers on it. They both had escalation clauses, and the winning buyer was immediately escalated up to $35,000 more than their initial asking price. They were not expecting that, of course, but they went under contract for that higher price. I get it. I understand it is tough out there. You want to stand out. You're tired of looking at houses. You're tired of losing out with the offers that you make, but I represent buyers for a living, and I'm also a lawyer whose job is to be risk averse and tell you all the things that could happen. So even though I'm telling you about these strategies that I'm seeing used, you should know that every single one of them is risky, and if you're going to use one, you have to make sure you're getting good advice before you move forward. If you want to learn more about appraisals and how those are going to affect your home purchase, watch this video.